Okay, this is the second time I got caught off on my own video. So I'm just going to upload both. And you're just going to have to look for part 1 and part 2. So that's just how that's going to go. So again, ace could mean like first of many, greatest because of the way cards are counted. It can mean a few different things. I believe 84,000 is significant. It could either mean 8.4 magnitude maybe, or my husband made a suggestion when I was telling him about the dream this morning. He's like, maybe it means 84,000 victims to this earthquake, injured or dead. So there's that. So again, I was arguing with my grandfather. There's confusion on how to qualify for this economic relief or whatever. So that could also mean too, confusion. I'm not sure. This is the part that kind of makes me think maybe it is the money, maybe it's not. I'm not sure. So now I took my grandma. So I told you my grandparents were my dream. I took my grandma in my van and it to escape after this earthquake because there was chaos everywhere. Now, it wasn't chaos near us, like it was chaos all around us. So I couldn't see it, but I knew there was chaos. There was chaos everywhere, but I just didn't see it in my dream. I just knew it. Now, my grandfather prepared to shoot an arrow at my van to stop us from going. I thought he was going to kill me, and I thought he was going to kill my grandma, but he wasn't. He just wanted to shoot the arrow into the tire of the car to stop us from going anywhere. But we finally left in the van and we drove away somehow and we lost my grandma. I lost my grandma. I don't know how I lost her, but I did lose her. But we found her. But she had found her own van, her own car, and went to the junkyard and waited for me. So I didn't know this in my dream, so I ran back to the building that was just destroyed by this earthquake. And I found my grandmother's purse. But as I was walking into this building, I realized that this building was flooding. Like, I knew that the building was destroyed from the earthquake, but there was water pressure coming from the top of it, which is really strange. I don't know what that signifies, but there was about to be a bursting water coming out, and it would flood the entire building and kill everybody that was left. People that were stranded and trapped, they couldn't get out because the water was going to come down and drown them. So if the earthquake didn't kill you, the water was going to kill you if you didn't get out before the pressure exploded and it fell all on us. So I knew that I only had a limited amount of time to go do what I was going to do and get out. And I did. I found my grandmother's purse and I realized she had her phone, so I called her. She said she was at the junkyard waiting for me, so I went to get her, then left. So that was my dream, that part of my dream. Now, I was driving, so somehow I ended up in this dream with my mom. My mom, my grandma, my husband, and my children, and we were in this van. And we were driving to this destination. And I remember saying to my mom, I kept wanting to go to this place here in Virginia. It's called the Shenandoah Caverns. Now, I kept saying it. I said like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, let's go check out the Shenandoah Caverns. Let's go check out the Shenandoah Caverns. Let's go. It was just like I was constantly trying to say this. And everybody's like, no, we got to get to where we're going. There was a purpose of where we were going. I didn't understand why they kept telling me no, but I knew that it was like a sense of urgency that where we were going was important. Nobody was like super concerned, like freaking out, but they were like, no, we got to get to where we're going. Like, we're not going to stop and do that. We need to go where we need to go. Like, this is serious crunch time. And so I was just like, okay. But then as we were driving to our destination, I wanted to stop and look at this beautiful house. Now, I'd seen this house, and it had a huge yard, and it had a shed. And I knew in my head that I was possibly wanting to buy this house in the future. That I was like, if I get the money, I want to buy this house. This is the house I want to live in. And there was a man who owned the house, and he had a wife, and he had kids, and I believe they were sons, 2 sons. And in this shed, this is where it gets creepy, there was people tied up in the shed. And I found them. Now, mind you, before I found them, I walked onto this property. I got out of the car, and my family's like, "What are you doing? Where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm going to go check this house out." And kind of just like being silly and wanting to go check out the house or whatever. It wasn't for sale or anything, so I don't know what I was doing. But my husband walks to the driveway with me, and then this woman's outside. And there's like this white, it's like a white house. It has like pillars in the front, and it has a huge yard, a fenced yard, a huge fenced yard. Like it's like almost a whole hill. Only it's not a hill, it's just huge. And then there's the shed. And she had this speaker outside, and it was playing music, and she was like in blue overalls with like with one of the hatches undone, and a gray t-shirt underneath, and the overalls were like shorts. So it was like an outfit. And she had sneakers on, she had hair in her ponytail, and she was, working in her front yard or whatever. And the house kind of looked like the house in I Am Legend that he lived in. Kind of. Not 100%, but kind of. Not as big, but some similar to that type of style. And her sons were playing outside, and her husband was doing work or whatever. And I never seen his face. I just seen his body type. Like he was a heavier old man, basically, but he wasn't like, they didn't strike me as weird. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. He striked me as a little off, but not weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, there was just some weird, like, it was like, I don't know what I was seeing in this part, but that man was walking around and he was doing something. I don't remember what it was. But she had seen me coming to look at the house. And she's like, "What are you doing on my land?" Like, really confused. And I'm like, "Oh, I was just, and I knew that I'd gotten caught looking at her house. So I'm like, I knew I wasn't supposed to be there because it was private property. So I'm like, I just needed directions to go to Shenandoah Caverns. I don't know where I'm going. Can you please direct me?" And she's like, "Oh, yes." She gave me the directions. So I pretended to leave out of the driveway. Now, mind you, my husband had walked with me up to the driveway to the point where it was like a roundabout kind of to their house. And all around was just fields. So there was no other houses. But he wasn't going in there with me. And then when I came back, he was gone. He must have went back to the car. Because they were waiting for me. I knew that they were waiting for me in my dream. Now, I had snuck back once I went far enough and I knew they weren't paying attention. I walked around and I went behind the shed. And as I was behind the shed, I looked through this crack. Now, it was a wooden shed, so you could see, and they're side laying wood, not up and down. It was side laying, so you could see in the cracks. There was this black gentleman, and he was tied up in the shed. It kind of looked like a farm shed, though. It was small. It had opening, but also had a closed section, so it was weird. It looked like a stall, kind of. Just a single stall. And had hay in there or whatever. And I don't think I'd buy that type of land. It was kind of weird. I don't know. The house was nice, but I found him. Now, when I found him, I knew that these people had special abilities. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just looking. Now, there was other prisoners there, too, but they all had, like, special abilities. And I knew that I had to... I needed to go through the back doors of this house to find, like, special objects, ancient objects, or important secrets. There were secrets that needed to be found out. And in this building, this is where this building had the secrets. And so I went inside this building through the back door. And, sorry, I thought that was my son. I went through this building through this back door, and on this one side, it was completely vacant. It was a beautiful house. And I opened this one door, and it ended up being their living room, and they had this huge TV, and the TV was on. And I looked, and I seen that they were watching TV, and I freaked out, so I shut the door really quietly, and I knew I couldn't go that way. So I went the other way, and I went looking around for things. I don't remember ever finding anything. But I went back to these people that were chained up in this stall shed. And I knew that they were special. There was something special about these people. I don't know what it was. They just had special gifts. My son, I think he's trying to get in the door. And I got caught. And then I ended up getting locked up. And I ended up getting locked up. And I was trying to get them to escape. But they wouldn't escape. They wouldn't leave with me. Eventually, though, we did escape, basically. So it was just very interesting, this dream. I wrote this down because I feel like it has to do with everything that's going on with the child sex trafficking. I wonder if these people were... Now, the one thing I need to point out about these people that were chained up in this stall shed, they didn't want to leave. Like, they didn't know any other life other than what they were doing. No, I didn't see any, like, sexual acts, or they didn't say they were being abused. Obviously, they were, because they were chained up and half naked, just in underwear, or, like, a garment that covered their heinies. But they were afraid to leave. They knew if they ran, they would die. They would kill them. And they would rather suffer than get murdered. And they knew that they didn't know anything else. And they're like, well, they treat us pretty good. You know, if we don't run and we don't try to find help, they feed us and they take care of us. So who cares if we're chained up? And that was their mentality. It was really sad to see that those people had that mentality, that they were tied up and that was the life they just wanted to live. However, I did get them to escape, and we did escape. And that was the end of my dream. But brothers and sisters, I don't really know what this means. I just want you to take into consideration for 1 second that there could be an earthquake approaching. I did have a dream the other night, a couple nights ago, maybe about a week ago, about a plane. And I was trying to go on this plane, and it was my flight, and I missed my flight. And I seen it taking off, and I'm yelling at the flight attendant. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I need to get on this plane. Like, I cannot just be left. She's like, I don't know what you're going to do. And as we're arguing, we both look at the plane, and the plane is starting to take off, and it just shakes and shakes, and it crashes. And it's like just severed, splits in half. Now, the dream that I had just yesterday, I found out that in India, a plane had crashed before taking off and had split in half. So I was really upset that I didn't share that dream. So I'm just sharing every dream that I have thus forward, and being obedient to the Word of God, being obedient to the leading of the Holy Spirit, even if it sounds ridiculous, because I didn't think that meant anything. And sure enough, there was a plane accident before it took off, and I found that really strange because in my dream, I'm like, crashes typically don't happen unless they're in the air. I didn't realize that crashes could happen while they're trying to take off. And that's what happened. It tipped and it fell over and it severed in half in India. And that's literally what happened in my dream. So I found that really strange. But I was disobedient and didn't share that dream. Now, I didn't know it was going to be in India. I just knew that I had a dream of that, and it was supposed to be a plane I was supposed to be on. Now, realistically, I was not supposed to be in India. Realistically, I did not know it was going to be an India plane. But I did have a dream of that. And so now I'm having a dream of an earthquake, and I believe that the 84,000 is significant, and the Ace family is significant. Brothers and sisters, I just need you to keep that in prayer for an interpretation, to look out. I actually can pull up where these people live. I'm not 100% sure right now, but I'm going to look it up right now because I really, really want people to be safe. Los Angeles, California. Yeah, Los Angeles, California. So that's where they live, in Los Angeles. So I wonder if there's going to be an earthquake in Los Angeles. Brothers and sisters, uh, just continue to pray for this Los Angeles, and I hope it be well with your soul, brothers and sisters. I love you all. If any of you gets an interpretation, let me know. Comment below, and God be with you. God bless, brothers and sisters. Love you all.